We have talked about the walls in the previous class, right? And we have said that how to arrange your walls and how to combine your layers together by editing your walls, creating some types, and editing the structure of those walls, right? And you should have done an exercise and have done a homework out of 5 walls, right? Did you? Fine.
2015 version.
Huh?
2015.
2015? 2015 what?
No, it's okay. It's 2015 version he is using.
It's okay. It's okay. Yes, yes, yes. Sure. Okay. Again, we have to access to our architectural template. Then we are inside the user interface and the Autodesk Revit 2017, right? After accessing our file, we have to start our project. We have said that there are some steps to be done before starting any project, right? What are these steps?
Units.
Units. What are the steps? Levels. And if you have to use or you need to use some reference planes, you can use these planes as a construction line, sorry, for your work, right? Okay.
You mentioned something reference.
Reference planes.
Reference.
Yes, these are the reference planes from architecture, work plane. These are the reference planes.
So
They could be used as a construction line for your work.
units and levels and
Reference planes if you need them. Fine. Okay. Again, we have to access or we want to access to our architectural panel. Please focus, guys. Architectural panel. Then to our tool, which is walls. First thing, to choose your type from your type selector. Sorry. Choose the type from the type selector. If you have it here, you can use it. If not, you can recreate your type by editing the type, then duplicate. Duplicate enables you to create a new type out of the same settings. Then you can edit these settings to create your new type. I told you to give a name and to be a proper name. Give a function, for example, exterior wall, dash, stone, finished, dash, and then maybe the thickness is 400 millimeters. Fine. Now I have the new type. We have access to the structure panel, and then we have edited this structure. We have talked about the core boundary and the outer part of the boundary, the inner part of the wall. Fine. Then you have to know the specs of your wall and what is the detail that you are trying to make out of this type. Then you can add all of this information inside this box. We have said that we have 3 main options of our wall, which is the function. What is the function? Or what is it about?
we talk about this is the finish 4, finish 5 structure.
Yes, perfect. But I need another answer. Why do we use or pay attention for the functions of the materials? It's about, yes, the priority and the strength of this material, which will cut whom. Fine. Okay. You have created 5 types, and I will not re-say that again. I will start something else. I have told you that you need to access to your material. Then inside the material, you have to assign some hatches and patterns for the layers, right? You remember that we have 2 type of patterns. The first one is the surface pattern. The second one is the cut pattern, right? Why do we use surface pattern, or where we use this pattern? Yes, which will appear on the surface, so we see that in the elevation or in anything appears as an elevation. What's about the cut pattern? Perfect. We see that in the plan, the section, the cut object, right? Okay. Now I want to go deep inside this pattern, and what I'm talking about here also works in the surface pattern, okay? The first thing that you have many patterns to choose from. These are prepared by Autodesk in your library in Revit. Fine. If you need something else, what are you going to do? This is the first question. The second thing, what are the types of the pattern? We have said that we have two types here, cut pattern and surface pattern. Fine. Inside this pattern I have also two types. What are these types? The drafting type and the model type. What is this and what is that? For the cut pattern you only have the option to create a drafting type. Let's go inside the surface pattern. Here you have two options, drafting pattern and model pattern. What is this and what is that? The drafting pattern is the hatch that is affected by the scale, and the program is always trying to keep it readable when you are printing. You are facing sometimes a problem in printing in AutoCAD after creating your hatches in a certain size and you print in another scale, so it's smaller or larger. It becomes sometimes solid instead of reinforced concrete, or it becomes a very huge scale and you can't see the pattern itself. Why is that? Because AutoCAD, for example, does not keep the hatches readable. Here inside Revit you have two options. Either it's a drafting pattern, so it's always readable and it's affected by the scale. If the scale changes, the size of the pattern changes, so you can see it every time or any time you print at any scale you are printing. Fine. The model pattern is always keeping your dimension fixed without considering the scale. For example, if you are printing an elevation of a stone wall, you have the rows, right?
Yes.
Rows of lines as a surface pattern. These rows of lines are always 26 centimeter height or 50 centimeter height, right? So the program will consider that this pattern is always 25 centimeter or 50 centimeter as you need, and if you change the scale it will remain 20 or 50 centimeter according to your size. Fine. So it's always readable, the drafting pattern, and usually we use it for the cut patterns. And when we are talking about the surface pattern, usually we are talking about the model pattern if we are considering a certain dimension for that pattern. Fine? Okay. What's about the new patterns? If you are talking about hatches that are not included inside your library or inside the program once you work on this template. If you need a new pattern, you can access to this option. So new. Now you have more than one option. Are you creating a simple hatch pattern or a custom hatch pattern? The simple one is just a combination of lines, offsets of lines, either if they are parallel lines or cross hatch lines. Let's say how. The first option that I'm giving the name, let's say pattern 01, okay? And please always give proper names. Now I'm just giving pattern 1 because I don't care for the name. The second option, what is the angle that you are creating? Are you creating inclined lines or horizontal or vertical lines? If they are inclined, you have 45 to the right, 45 to the left. If they are horizontal, so they are horizontal 0. Fine, sorry, I have clicked enter. You should not click enter. So pattern 02, 0, the angle, so they are horizontal, or 90, they are vertical, or 135, they are inclined to the left, or 45, they are inclined to the right. These are the parallel lines, and you have to provide the dimension between these lines. So you have the dimension, you can insert it here, for example 300 millimeters, and just click OK. Now you have the new pattern. It's always inclined to the right, and the distance between these lines are always 300 millimeters. If you print the elevation 1 to 50 and then you try to measure the dimension, you will find it 300 millimeter on the scale 1 to 50. If you print 1 to 100, you will always find it as the same to the dimension that you are creating. Fine. Let's say that you are creating a cross-hatched pattern 03. You want the cross-hatch pattern. You can change the angle and you can change the dimension also, then just click OK. Fine. These are the two simple patterns that you can create inside this option. The further option that you need some hatches, for example, like the parquet, like the ceilings hatches, like an
Heat insulation.
insulation, for example. Fine. You will not find them here, and you can just create them by a simple pattern. You can just access to the new patterns and then click on custom. Now you have the import option. If you need the same hatches which are included in AutoCAD, you need to bring the AutoCAD hatching files. Fine. Where to find that? Don't overthink. Just access to your search panel here and click ACAD ISO. Please write that. ACAD ISO.pat. This is the AutoCAD hatches file. ACAD ISO. Yes. Dot pat from pattern. PAT. Again, ACAD ISO.pat. Yes, PAT. From pattern, yes. Fine. And usually you'll find it in your C drive, on computer C drive. Okay. Then click enter. Now it will run the search. This is my files. After finishing the search, if the computer didn't find it, just include the computer from here, okay? You will find another icon here, computer. Click on it, it will search inside the computer. This is the file that I need. I copied it to my desktop. Okay? This is the file. Now I need to import this one inside my Revit patterns. So new, import. I will access to my location on the computer, which is on the desktop now, and then I will import this path file. Click open. Now I have all the pattern import. Sorry, the file is not working for me. Maybe because it's another version. I don't have the AutoCAD 2017. If you have the AutoCAD 17, you will find them here. Fine?
So it should be?
If it's a later version of AutoCAD, it's okay. If you are working on Revit 2016 and it's AutoCAD 2017, it's okay. But because I'm using AutoCAD 17, Revit 17, and my AutoCAD is 16. So I couldn't find it here. Fine? So if I'm working on the same version, so I find my patterns loaded here. I can choose out of them, one of them. Fine? Okay, Robert? After loading them, it will enable the scale. I can give it a certain scale, for example 1 to 0.01. It will work. I will choose my pattern that I want and then I will click OK. I will find it here again. Okay. I'll check if I have Revit 16. I will do that. I have Revit 16.
If we don't have the hatch what we need in this file.
If our colleague is asking if we don't have the hatches that we need inside the ACAD ISO.pat. You need to find one in the internet, or you have to create it. And how to create it is not our topic. You can do that in AutoCAD or any other program. Fine. So you have more than one option. You can load the ACAD ISO.pat inside your Revit, so you will have the same hatches. The second thing that you can bring some files from the internet and load them inside the Revit. And finally, you can create some patterns and then load them inside Revit. Fine? Okay, now after having this option, I will go inside the architectural template inside Revit 2016. Then I will do the same. I will choose walls, edit type, duplicate, and then go to the materials. This is the wall. I will go to edit type, structure, inside the material. I can create a new material or whatsoever inside the surface pattern. I'll create a new custom import. Then I'll go to my location, ACAD ISO.path, open. Now I have them here. Now we found the problem that I was working on a later version of Revit, but I have a previous version of AutoCAD, so I couldn't import the ACAD ISO inside the 2017. Fine. Now I have them here. I can't see anything here now. Why? Because the scale is very large. I can make it, for example, 0.03 or 0.02 or something. Now I'm previewing my patterns. I can select one of them. I don't know what I have. The hatch or the pattern that you will never find it in Revit once you install the program, the stone hatch, which is inclined lines, continuous, dashed line, continuous, dashed line. It's not included inside Revit, so you can look for it inside the ACAD ISO file. You will find it now. I have the scale prepared for me now, and then I can just click OK. I have it here. Now I can use it for any of my materials. Fine. This is the procedure. You can follow it always. Again, the file name is acadiso.path. You can find it on your computer after installing the AutoCAD. If you don't have the AutoCAD in your system, you will not find that file. Fine? Okay. So again, if you need any new hatches, access to your material, then access to the pattern that you are creating. If it's a surface pattern, click on this option. If you are in the cut pattern, click on that option. Now you have more than one option inside. You have a drafting pattern and a model pattern. The drafting pattern is always affected by the scale, and it's always readable and printed readable. If it's a model pattern, so it always consider the dimension of the lines. Fine? The dimensions between the lines. If you need a new pattern that you don't have in Revit, you have to click on this option, which is new, and then you have two options inside, simple and custom. What are the simple patterns? Lines with a certain angle and a certain distance between them. So you can just give it a name, give it an angle, a dimension, and a type, parallel lines or cross hatch lines. Fine. If you need a new pattern which is custom, like a parquet, wallpaper, ceilings, whatsoever, you can just click on custom, import a hatch file. An example is ACAD ISO.path. It should match the same version, or it should be one of the previous versions, and then you can select the needed one, change the scale, and then click OK. You will have it in your hatches and patterns, and then click OK. Fine. That's about the hatch. I want you to do that in your system, please. Do both. I want you to create a cross-hatched pattern, and then I want you to import the ACAD ISO.path on your system. Fine.